Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend Matt.
My vote is for Patrick Mahomes. I listened to you intently, Patrick, tonight, and your deflection was onto the referees. And that case was comprehensively rebutted. Treachery deserves to be punished by banishment. Banishment, my dear friend, should be your fate tonight. This guy is the silent slaughterer, and that is the sum of it.
Wow. That sounded very intense. What was that? What was that in reference to?
the fucking traitors.
Oh yeah, but who said that? I
John.
forget. Oh, that's right. You know what? I keep forgetting about John's existence in that show.
The fact that a fucking former UK member of parliament is on the traitors alongside American reality stars still hasn't set in, but it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I forget about him, and then it did sound familiar, but I was just like, wow, that I remember him saying that last episode, and I was just kind of like, that. God, what a weird human being to include amongst this mess.
Yeah, not. I don't know. I actually know fucking nothing about his politics. So
I have no idea. He was just a former speaker. You know where I recognized him from? John Oliver, because he would have the Last Week Tonight used to have like the airings of the British Parliament, and he was like the speaker at the time. So he was always like the one speaking in those clips.
You go.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. What a show that Traitors is. I'm extremely excited. We're recording this on Thursday, and we're gonna get a new episode of that. And it's been renewed for season 3. And I hope that we get the international versions, and it's a good time to be a fan of that show. It's I highly recommend it if you like social deduction shows, especially if you like the people that play them, because they're going to end up. If you have a favorite social deduction reality show, you're going to enjoy. You're probably going to have those people show up on the Traitors. Like it's just
somebody you like will be there.
Yes, exactly. It will happen. So there you go. Well, Matt, we're here.
We made it.
We made it. It's Super Bowl week. I'm very excited. I don't know if I'm excited for the game, but I'm just kind of excited for just the vibes, you know?
Yeah.
It's Super Bowl week. They're in Las Vegas, so there's gonna be a lot of like Las Vegas shit happening, and I don't know. Las Vegas there's probably a lot of shitty things about Las Vegas, but it's a very unique, weird city, and I will enjoy the coverage of it from that point of view. And yeah, the day of the Super Bowl is always a good time. And so especially if you have people to hang out with and food to eat. So
yeah,
it's gonna be. I'm very very excited for that in that regard. Matt, a week removed, a little bit more than a week removed from the championship games, how has your mind like kind of adjusted for this Super Bowl? Are you looking forward to it, or are you just still kind of like, eh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it in a sense. You know, the big stain was just that with how much my heart was into both Baltimore and Detroit this year, the fact that both of them got their dreams ended on the same day was rough.
Yeah.
But you know, there's two ways to look at it. We get to see you kind of put this into perspective last week for me, where it's like, hey, we either get to see a dynasty form or like cement itself really, or we get to see the 49ers finally get that win after like being so close for so long. And I think that both of those are cool storylines. I have one that I would rather see,
of course,
but yeah, like it's still there.
Yeah, and yeah, like we said, like, you know, obviously we've made it clear since the start of the season how the tone has shifted when it comes to the Chiefs, where we've reached a point where they are looked at as villains for the season, and just for the fact that, you know, they're reigning champions, and they've that was their second title in 4 years, and now they're going for their third, and you know, that was always, if them being here again was never going to thrill anyone outside of Kansas City.
No.
So it kind of, you know, that was just going to be the reality of it. I saw someone wrote an article. I won't name names or the outlet. That someone was trying to argue that, like, are the Chiefs really the, like, do people really hate the Chiefs? And the article was trying to argue that nobody really hates the Chiefs. And I'm like, I get there's probably some like stupid mind bullshit where you're gonna be like, well, you really love the Patriots because they served as a great storyline in the league where you wanted to see them get knocked down. Therefore, you didn't really hate the Patriots. No, enough of that. We hate the Chiefs. All right, let's just put it, like, let's put it plainly. We don't like that the Chiefs are winning this much, and if it's we hate them because we ain't them or whatever. Fine, whatever. However you want to phrase it, that's fine.
I am a hater. You're right.
Right, exactly. We're a hater. Like, we're gonna hate on successful teams because when they're here a lot, it makes it kind of boring for people who enjoy seeing new things happen in the league. All right, whatever. But putting that aside, yes, like, all respect to the Chiefs in terms of, like, hey, you're here again, and you're potentially about to knock on the door of a dynasty. Um, and then on the flip side, you have a 49ers team which has had a dynasty in the past and has 5 Super Bowls under its name, but hasn't been there since the 90s, or at least hasn't won the championship since the 90s, I should say. Um, and it has this whole new group of people and a lot of people that are easy to root for in many ways, some that aren't, Nick Bosa. And so I think that in general, the 49ers are a compelling team to watch go up against this Chiefs team, considering the 49ers have had their own, like, mini dynasty of the last 3 years. And when I say mini, I mean really, really mini. Like, they've just been to 3 straight NFC Championship games. Like, that's really my point. Or 3 or 4 of the last 5 NFC Championship games, and are in the Super Bowl for, like, the second time in 4 years. Like,
Yeah.
they've been a very successful team. To see them get over the hump will be very interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to everything around the game. And later in the podcast, we're going to do our annual commercial draft, and we'll explain more about that later. But we have some special guests for that this time around, which I'm excited to bring in for that. But before we do anything more, let's get into the news. The latest in the coaching cycle for the NFL. Matt, this is maybe the longest stretch of time we have recorded since the start of the season, because we recorded literally the day after the championship Sunday, and now are recording the Thursday before the Super Bowl. So we do, like, believe it or not, we have not talked about either of the head coaching hirings that happened in the last 10 days, which include Seahawks hiring Mike Macdonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, had previously spent time with Michigan, but his time with the Ravens has borne a defense that was very hard to stop and hard to play against. Almost got the Ravens to the Super Bowl, as we've stated before. Now Mike Macdonald, who is now the youngest head coach in the league at the moment, is now taking the reins in Seattle. Not quite a change of like the head coach specialties, which, like, Pete Carroll is a defensive head coach, so they're not really moving to the other side of the ball on this, but they are certainly shifting to a younger individual to run this operation. What did you think about this hire?
I think it makes sense. Just one of those hires that's like, there's a lot of like young up and coming head like coordinators getting hired these days.
Yeah.
So it's one that made sense. It feels a little bit like chasing like what Indy and what Indy and Arizona did, where it's like, oh, let's chase the coordinators of the super successful team, which I guess is just like everything.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I like the hire, not who I would have expected to be the first choice on that,
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah.
the Ravens defense was fucking phenomenal this year, so he
Yeah.
he for sure earned it.
Yeah, and I think this is a team, a Seahawks team that, despite having a defensive head coach, has struggled on that side of the ball, despite having budding stars. Obviously Devin Witherspoon had a great year for himself, um, and they've had some like key players for that defense that were making plays every once in a while, but that was their weak spot. Their offense was really the stronger part of that team, and for quite some time. I don't love the idea that Pete Carroll was let go in the way that he was. I mean, it sounded like they just asked him to step aside, and all that. But I don't know. I look at it as I I I understand though when you look at what happened over the last couple of years since the Legion of Boom and that falling apart, that they have never reached that point ever again and have just kind of been sitting in this consistency spot where they're not quite one of the worst teams in the league by any stretch, but they just sit in this middle period where they're either just mediocre enough to miss the playoffs or just maybe good enough to hit like the 5, 6, 7 seed situation, um, which is, like that's fine, but I think that they're thinking, let's get back to having a really good defense, and we'll see what happens on the offensive side of the ball. If they want to stick with the Geno Smith moving forward, he's apparently due guaranteed money after the Super Bowl, so we'll see. Meanwhile, and this is a fun one, the Commanders have hired as their head coach Dan Quinn. Of course, if you're living under a rock and don't know who Dan Quinn is, he is of course the most recently the Cowboys defensive coordinator, but he had previously served as the Atlanta Falcons head coach. Of course, led that team to a Super Bowl in 2016. Was up 28-3 and then blew it.
Yep.
Maybe part of that on Kyle Shanahan too. Who knows? But regardless, that's his legacy. He, of course, has been looked at as like a pretty decent head coach. Obviously, he did lead the Falcons to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, it's an odd hire, and with a lot of weird circumstances around it. It's Matt. Part of me is like, this reminds me a bit of the Matt Nagy hire, in the sense that the Bears hired Matt Nagy after he had one of his worst games as a coordinator in the playoffs. And now the Commanders are hiring Dan Quinn after maybe the worst game he had as a coordinator in the playoffs.
You're so right.
It's so there's that energy, right? But then you have the layered bullshit on top of it, where the Commanders were. It has been rumored for a while. We even talked about it a bit on the show here, that Ben Johnson was their guy. They wanted Ben Johnson badly.
Lions offensive coordinator.
Yes. And they're like, okay, we're gonna now fly to Detroit and we're gonna interview Ben Johnson. But apparently they get in the air and they're flying. And by the way, they're also interviewing Aaron Glenn. And the Ben Johnson then tells them and reveals to the world, yeah, you know what? I like my chances of winning a Super Bowl in Detroit. I'm going to stay here, which is amazing news, by the way.
Yes, I fucking love that. I'm so happy.
Yeah, like just sidebar to this conversation. Like, that was my biggest thing about Detroit losing on NFC Championship game, was that, like, as much as I wanted to like pound the table and be like, yeah, they'll be back there, my one hesitation will be like, but they might lose Ben Johnson, and who has been such an instrument in them having the offense that they did and getting to the title game. The fact that he's returning does give me a lot more hope for the Lions going into next year, of like, okay, maybe they just stay the course and maybe things will just work again. Like, it gives me a lot of hope. So good for them. but the Commanders have then since pivoted, um, and because of what Ben Johnson did to them, supposedly, uh, they decided not to go. I guess they did go to and interview Aaron Glenn regardless. But that they were most likely just trying to check a Rooney Rule box, which is really fucked up. But that's just how
Yeah.
that's how the owners roll in the NFL. Um, but they pivoted. We're going to hire Mike McDonald. Then he gets the job in Seattle, and so they basically end up settling on Dan Quinn. And through the media, the Commanders have basically been trashing Ben Johnson because he was asking for too much money, or he was like he just didn't feel like the right like he was head coach ready or whatever. Like they were doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, these guys would have done heinous acts to get Ben Johnson to be their head coach. So I don't believe it for a fucking second. Um Anyways, that's a long spiel. Matt, like, do you think Dan Quinn is a good hire for the Commanders?
It feels very uninspired, if I'm being totally honest. Like, I
Yeah.
really like Dan Quinn,
Yeah.
but Ron Rivera felt uninspired at the
Right.
time.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, just kind of coming off of like a not great instance, or not great season, and difference from like coordinator, but both still former head coaches who now are no longer head coaches. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I don't think it's going to be a disaster for them. I do think Dan Quinn has a chance to be a very good head coach.
yeah,
Um, I but am I sitting here like pounding the table like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing? Like some other hires, this no.
no,
I'm kind of just like, all right. And I think the Commanders also know that deep down. I think that they wanted someone fresh, a offensive mind to go along with a quarterback that they'll draft high,
yep,
and it just didn't work out, which sucks, and you have to settle for someone, but it's just it. I don't look at the Dan Quinn hire as being like, oh man, that's a slam dunk. That's gonna be perfect for them, and not a great start for the regime, especially given that we also heard reports that Ben Johnson, part of the reason why he decided to not go with the Commanders was that he didn't really jive with the uh how the people running the organization were like basketball guys,
hmm
and they think that they know football just because they run they ran a franchise like the 76ers or whatever.
yeah,
It's just like
mm,
it's not a great start if you're a Commanders
no,
fan. Um that being said, we talked about Ben Johnson remaining as an offensive coordinator. So too is Bobby Slowick. He remains in Houston to continue working with CJ Stroud. I
love that
thought
for him.
that was also very
Yeah,
good. Just along the same lines of Ben Johnson staying in Detroit. Like, hey, stick with what you have. See if you can get another good year out of it. And maybe the Texans can break the not having made it to the AFC Championship game uh, ever in its franchise history. Like, maybe they could break that with what they currently have. Like, they're still a young roster. They're still like not an amazing roster, but the coaching was a big reason why they made it as far as they did this past year. So
yeah.
good stuff. I wanted to just include this here. But Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel are jobless. They
Which
got
is nuts.
Yeah, they got nothing. I really thought Belichick was gonna get something. Like say what you will about whether or not he is still a good head coach. I just kind of figured that a team would bite on that bullet and take the chance. I do think that Belichick could still coach in the league. I think it it just would require him to have some humility, um, or not humility. I mean that's the word, but just be humble, I guess, and
Yeah,
just like not maybe realize like, hey, if maybe have trust in the brain trust that an organization is forming or has formed or maybe has been there for a while, uh and maybe trust them to do the drafting and you coach. And like he's a great defensive coach. The Patriots defense, regardless of how shitty it gets or the shitty the team as a whole get, has been very good for many years. And it's just like I don't know. My fever dream was that the Giants would hire him as the defensive coordinator. Just because
That would be so fucking funny.
no, right? Like, I mean, like, because I'm just thinking, like, well, let's just assume that Brian Dable doesn't work out for them. He could end up being. He's always Belichick has always dreamed about being the head coach of the Giants, supposedly. So I was just like, all right, like, I wouldn't be against it, but I don't know. I guess it seems like he's gonna go to the media, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Vrabel, on the other hand, I'm even more shocked that Vrabel didn't land a job, to be honest.
Me too.
And I think there was some bullshit reporting that came out of it, where it was like, oh, it's because Vrabel is big and intimidating, and the owners don't like that. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck does that even mean? Don't like. What part of Dan Campbell do you not realize that shit doesn't matter? Anyways, so he's out of a job. I don't know where he's gonna end up in the meantime. Hopefully somewhere. I still think he's a good head coach. I don't understand why he was fired outside of just disagreements in the front office or whatever, or with ownership. But yeah, I'm very stunned by that. But Belichick will be on our television screens for a year, most likely. He'll pull a Sean Payton. That's the thing that makes the most sense.
Yep.
All right. Some other things here. Steelers have hired a great new offensive mind in Arthur Smith
Arthur
to be their offensive coordinator. And I gotta say, Matt, I feel like the reception to this hire is a lot more positive than I thought it was going to be. And I guess that makes sense because, like, when he was an offensive coordinator, he did do a very good job.
he did.
But when he was a head coach, it was a nightmare. And I guess I don't know if he just felt like he was spinning too many plates and therefore not able to do a better job on the offense. But I don't know, man. It feels like people are very much giving him like oh yeah, this is gonna be a good fit. Like he's gonna just plug right in and everything's gonna be perfect. But I'm like, I guess, but if I'm George Pickens, do I worry about my reception count? So I guess, or any of their like star running backs, like are they gonna give it to like the third or fourth stringer a bunch of snaps? Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Am I wrong for reading it in the negative way?
Probably not.
Are you not high on it either?
It's so like I when he got hired in Atlanta, it was so much like, oh, we got the Derrick Henry shit going on, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Derrick Henry but after Atlanta, you basically just go, oh, maybe Derrick Henry was just so good that it like it was forcing Arthur to use him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very weird.
It's very weird. But that's that hire was like a little bit of an eyebrow raiser, but I'm like, all right, sure. He was a successful offensive coordinator. Give him another shot. Let's see what happens. Commanders, going back to them for a second, hired offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. And this is wild, in my opinion. Look, I mean, he did have he had some nice moments here and there with Arizona in terms of offense. I was just surprised that he was an offensive. He decided to wait for an offensive coordinator position instead of going back to the college ranks. But granted, we'll talk about that in a second. It seems like college coaches are fleeing to the NFL at this point, given the NCAA's bullshit. But yeah, Cliff Kingsbury is now the offensive coordinator, and basically is now the guy that's going to help mold the potential new quarterback for the Commanders when they draft him second overall. Any thoughts on this one?
Still nothing that substantial. Like Cliff Kingsbury's biggest thing was that as a head coach was that he started out the year super great, and then everyone figured out his offense. So maybe if he's able to have some variety, that'll be a good offense.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that
not huge on it. We'll see.
right. It was like Cliff Kingsbury just kept on having these end of season collapses, and it was just like, Jesus, like you can't like it would be that's what you're concerned about, is that like you end up having like this really strong start and everything looks great, and we all like overhype the idea of like, oh man, the Commanders offense, like this new quarterback that they got, everything is just firing on all cylinders, and then it just kind of like just falls by the wayside. Yeah, it's not going to be ideal, I don't think, in that sense. But yeah, but I guess there's always a capacity for people to change and coaches to change things up, and so
yep,
we'll see.
Never know until we see it.
Last few things here. The Raiders Raiders initially hired Cliff Kingsbury, and then contract things happened, and he decided to leave the table. And so the Raiders instead hired Luke Getsy. So
hope they like screen passes.
And also, so what I will say about this is that the Raiders did. There was a report that was like, so people started speculating like, oh, maybe Justin Fields, if he's not on the Bears, maybe he'll go to the Raiders because Luke Getsy's there. And supposedly the mindset inside the Raiders organization, the reporting is that Luke Getsy wasn't the problem with the Bears offense. And it somewhat basically implying that they're blaming Justin Fields for the Bears offense being bad.
Because of all the times that Justin Fields had the opportunity to do anything, and they didn't just fucking take it away from him and make him throw behind the line of scrimmage every single fucking play.
Yeah.
I'm not better.
The Packers have a new defensive coordinator, and it's a Jeff Hafley. And of course, when you hear that name, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? He's the Boston College head coach.
Woo!
which I was just kind of like, wait, what? And so, yeah, again, the NCAA people, the college coaches really hate what's going on with the NCAA, and so they're just like, yep, we rather take on a coordinator job in the NFL than be a head coach still. Fair enough, whatever. So that's the Packers. And then the Eagles had hired offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, who has, of course, had a long history with the Cowboys, and the Chargers, and so on and so forth. One last thing before we bring our friends in for the commercial draft. Have you been at all following the 49ers field saga, Matt?
A little bit, yeah.
So the controversy du jour of this Super Bowl week is that the 49ers have a shit practice field. Of course, for people who are unaware, when the teams come a week early to arrive in the Super Bowl town, hosting town, and it's mainly to do media stuff, and then they will be staying in Las Vegas to practice. And so Kansas City has the luxury of working at the Raiders practice facility, and meanwhile the 49ers were designated to UNLV. I don't know how those straws get drawn. I don't know how
I can tell you why.
Yeah,
because the AFC and NFC alternate who the home team is every single year.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and this year the AFC is the home team, so the Chiefs are the home team.
So they got the choice.
And it's always they get the stadium, and then the away team gets the local university. That's always how it is. It's not a conspiracy to like ruin the 49ers' chances.
Yeah.
It's just how it happened to work out this year.
Right.
It's totally UNLV's fault. It's not like the NFL's fault for.
Right. Well, okay. So
I mean, they're still making them go there, but you know.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to point out, though. So that yes, you're right. This is just how it goes. It's not the. Overall, when you look at it at the surface level, it's not that big of a deal. But Kyle Shanahan had to address this because it became a news story, and he kind of went on the record saying like, look, it's not perfect. We're gonna deal with it. But the way that the NFL and mainly specifically Roger Goodell is handling it is not good. And
No.
Goodell kind of was like answering like, yeah, they'll just deal with it during his invite only sit down quote unquote press conference that he had this week. And full disclosure, the commissioner usually does a full blown press conference for the media to come and ask him questions. Mostly they're softballs, but there's sometimes some hard hitting questions that do get asked. It used to be held at the end of the week. They got moved to Wednesday. I don't know why. And then this year they decided to make it invite only, where only certain press members were able to gain access to it, and it was a sit down conversation with Roger Goodell, and there's just something about it that screams snowflake to me, Matt, on that front. Of a man who just refuses to want to have any sort of accountability his way. This is a year removed from when they laid off Jim Trotter from the NFL Media Group, who had been very much calling out Roger Goodell on the lack of diversity in the coaching ranks and how the NFL is shit about that. And he's it just made it's a bad look all around on that front. So Roger Goodell, during this cozy press conference, decided to say, yeah, the 49ers are going to deal with it. They have played on surfaces as bad or in that quality before, so it's not that it's fine. And the ones that he referred to were the Giants, the MetLife Stadium, which is historically a horrible field to play on.
Which is so fucking funny that the FIFA finals are going to be there.
Oh my god. Yeah, I saw that announcement. I was just like, forget it. All your favorite soccer players, just you gotta get ice packs for them, man. It's not gonna be good. That
New York, New Jersey stadium.
Oh my god, it's just. I mean, look, sure, it'll be interesting, but so that was one, and then he brought up Nissan Stadium, who also has had terrible field issues, and it's like, and then on top of all that, he at the very tippy top basically refused to help the 49ers in any way. There were this is reports from Mike Silver from the San Francisco Chronicle, and I think a couple of other reporters on this. He basically refused to help the 49ers in any way. The 49ers were going to try to practice in the morning today in the Raiders facility before the Chiefs had their time. And instead of having Roger Goodell had the power to maybe like tell the Chiefs like, hey, push your practice back into later today so the 49ers could have it in the morning. Roger Goodell flat out refused to do that, and it was going to make the 49ers come in super early in order for them to even practice on that or like a normal fucking field. And it's just overall, Matt, I am not trying to sit here and be like there's a vast conspiracy against the 49ers or anything, but it's just the idea that Roger Goodell is just like sitting in his ivory tower, just basically being like, yeah, screw accommodating anyone.
Screw accommodating anyone. Screw making it fair and accommodating the one of your two final teams left.
Right. Yeah.
When you want a competitive football product.
Right. And any like the people who do believe in conspiracy theories and do think like the NFL scripted and everything, like
they got so much fucking
yeah. Here's the perfect storyline that you could now just run away with, and like I don't blame them. I just don't blame them for believing that. In that vein, at least, because it's not a good look by the NFL by any stretch of the imagination. But I think since those reports came out, I think Kyle Shanahan has just kind of publicly said, "We're staying at UNLV. We'll figure it out. Everything's fine. We're focused on the Super Bowl." And I think Shanahan publicly has been handling this whole saga very, very well.
Yeah.
It's just a bummer overall. All right. Well, I will now summon our friends. We will be back in just a moment for our fourth annual commercial draft.
I think I don't know, actually.
I don't know.
It's 3 or 4.
We've been doing it for a bit, but
yeah.
Regardless, we'll be back very soon. And now joining us for the commercial draft is none other than the chaotic couple, Kelsey and Anthony. How you guys doing?
Is it chaotic with a K?
Sure. We can go with
Like
that.
the chaotic is K and the couple is K.
Yeah, and the just 2Ks. No more than that. And then
Well, but I'm the third K.
oh shit. And then the capital A it would be in chaotic. So it would be CH capital A O. Anyways, welcome guys. So we are back. We have an Excel sheet up, which is why everyone's being mysteriously quiet because I think edits are being made. So let's talk about how this is going to work. So for those who are unfamiliar about the commercial draft and how what we've been doing the last few years is we come to the table the week of the Super Bowl. For some reason, the Super Bowl commercials are released ahead of time. Don't know why that is. It's just I guess they're just generally to generate hype and get things going on that front. So we take the list of known commercials that are going to air during the Super Bowl, and we do a draft, and we draft commercials. We're each going to draft 5 commercials, and the goal is to have your 5 commercials air before anyone else's 5 commercials do. In other words, basically, you want the 5th commercial to air on your team to air before anyone else's 5th. I guess if that makes any sense.
Just all of yours to go.
Yes, every single commercial has to be aired. I just noticed that there is an orange being pasted everywhere. I think that's an orange.
Orange, I thought it was a waffle.
It looks okay. Yeah, I guess that's a waffle. Anyways, so we have a list of 39 commercials that we think are airing. We're pretty confident about the airs. Listen,
if I could just interject,
yeah,
it appears to be an orange in sunglasses, holding a little orange, leaning on a glass of orange juice.
Gotcha.
And for some reason, even if I click inside of the cell, you can't touch it.
I think it's like a background.
How did he do that?
Right. Can you take the orange out from the drafted by? You can keep posting the oranges everywhere else.
You can type on top of it, and then it goes away. Oh no, wait, he might have removed it. Yeah, he removed it. Never mind.
Okay. Anyways, so we're going to draft and
if I type in it goes away if you type over it.
Okay.
I apologize for the disruption.
Yeah, it's okay. We're
Well, he called us the chaos couple, so
right. You're just causing chaos just behind the scenes, behind the weeds.
Do you guys have listeners?
I mean, I would like to think someone is, but I think maybe probably don't. But that's okay.
That's a weird thing to ask a podcast.
I mean, well, no, that's a fair thing to ask, but we just I don't.
Well, because then I would gauge taking it more seriously than I am. But if you were not really sure, then I'm going to be a little chaotic.
But I you know what? We're here. We're having a good time. Yeah, we're having a good time, and that's what matters. So it's all good. So we have a list of 39 commercials. I pulled from multiple websites that are basically saying these are the Super Bowl ads. If any of these don't air, I apologize. That has happened before, unfortunately.
It has. It's really dumb.
It's really dumb because these websites are like, yeah, this is gonna air during the Super Bowl, and then it just fucking doesn't air during the Super Bowl. It's incredibly infuriating. So discretion advised here for those who are drafting here that there's maybe a slight chance that one of these commercials don't make the cut, but I checked every single website. These are the collection that we have. More than likely, all of them are going to air, but it has happened in the past. Bullshit happens. So anyways, to decide on the order, I would like to ask everyone to either go to our Dice Rolls channel in Discord, or you can just stay in the commercial draft channel and do /R D6 in the chat.
I know.
Yeah.
Wait, /R
space
command D6.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem. And all right. So Anthony is going to get the first pick, followed by Kelsey, followed by Matt, followed by myself, and we're going to snake it.
Wait, Anthony? Oh, he didn't dice rolls.
Yes. So he got a 6. Kelsey got a 5. Matt a 3, and I got a
Anthony,
1.
if you pick my first pick, I'm gonna cry.
All right, what's your first pick?
No, you have to go first.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and pick Little Orange Guy.
I don't think that's a brand.
What are you
It's
talking about?
listed. It's on the sheet.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
number 41.
I
That,
see.
yeah.
Okay, all right. For real though, for real.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you.
All good.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the Popeyes commercial with Ken Jeong.
Okay.
Love Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
All right. So I was gonna go ahead and put your name here. All right. Kelsey, you're up next.
I would like to go with the Patrick Stewart throws Hey Arnold Paramount Plus commercial.
Damn it.
Good. Very good. All right. Matt, you are next on this list.
So you see, that was going to be my first pick because you want to try to play the game of like what are they really going to focus on, and of course they're going to fucking focus on their streaming service.
Right.
So that said, I'm going to take the NFL board to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. That probably has a good chance of either airing like right before kickoff or around the time of halftime.
Exactly.
But I think that's a very solid pick. I'm gonna go. My first is gonna be Uber Eats. It's very star-studded. Has Jennifer Aniston, both the Beckhams and Jelly Roll. And I think there's also been some offshoot commercials that they're gonna air as well.
Can we take a second to talk about Jelly Roll?
Sure. I don't know who that is.
Nobody here knows who Jelly Roll is.
I'm not everybody.
I've heard their name, but I'm more familiar with Jelly Roll Morton, the jazz musician.
Okay,
oh yes, me too.
No, you're not. Shut the fuck up. So Jelly Roll is like a like rapper, but it's kind of country influence. He's from Tennessee.
Sure.
His real name is Jason DeFord, and he has a history of was raised in, I think, Nashville, but has like mental illness and addiction running in his family, and he himself had been, I believe, incarcerated at least once in his life. And his career is mostly like hip hop, rap, whatever. But he is a huge supporter of anti-fentanyl legislation, and earlier this year went in front of Congress and spoke to Congress about legislation about like drug control and helping addicts and everything. And he had a really impassioned speech that he gave, and it was wonderful. And he sent out the comparison that I think it's every day in the United States, the same amount of people die from fentanyl use as if a 737 went down every single day. And when you think about the coverage that if the 737 going down garners, and people look the other way when it has to do with like drug consumption because they don't care about addicts and they look at them as being like the dregs of the earth. And so it was a very powerful comparison. And so I really, really, really like Jelly Roll as a human being because I think that he's taking his platform and actually utilizing it for something that matters.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Anyway, we stand Jelly Roll. Also, he's fucking hysterical. He did a commercial at the Grammys where I don't even know what the commercial was for, but it ended up being that he like woke up and looked in the mirror, and he's somebody that has tattoos all over his face. But in the commercial, he made the joke that he like didn't know how he got tattoos on him and started to like scream about having tattoos on him. And I think that's really funny.
So that's that's the Uber Eats commercial.
Oh, so it's also going to air at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so that's part that's like a teaser for like the full length Uber Eats thing that's going to air. So I think that's why I think it's going to air as early as it is. Oh, I'm knocking over my bottles.
Your bottles?
I have a lot of bottles on my desk. I need to clean up here.
What kind of bottles?
Seltzer, and I had Pepsi. Pepsi from the store.
You Nefarian.
Yeah. That not yeah, no, don't worry, guys. I haven't hit the hard stuff here. Anyways, but yeah, no, I think it's star-studded, and I think it's just gonna be prominent immediately.
Snake Drasty, you get to pick again.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I had that was like my slam dunk first pick, and I feel like now I'm like I don't know where to go from here. I'm gonna say, I think they're gonna do Chris Pratt Pringles early on, because he's the Hollywood hot boy.
You mean Mr. Peepee?
Yeah, Mr. Peepee. Anyways, Matt, you're up.
All right, it's not on the list.
It isn't.
Can I tag in FanDuel Kick of Destiny 2?
Well, okay. So the only thing I'm gonna say about that is that we know that's happening at halftime.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
In that case,
Yeah.
I will take my favorite candy right now, Nerds Gummies.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. All right.
That was going to be my second pick. We're fighting now.
That's how drafty works.
I know, but I took your pick and then you took my pick.
Yeah. It's on site round 3.
It's on site. It's on site.
Chris is trying to maintain order.
That's okay. I realize I recognize what I get into when I have this especially this group together. That
Fucking
we're gonna
bitch.
have some shenanigans going on, so it's all good. How? Go ahead, Kels. You're up.
Mayo Cat and Kate McKinnon
There you go. Very nice.
for Hellman's Mayo.
There you go.
Hellman's has been like pretty consistent, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean last year they did what's her face? Schumer.
Schumer was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Someone.
Hellman's Mayo is the best mayo.
I just don't like mayo.
That's okay. Wow. I'm surprised.
Really?
Mr. Midwest? Yeah, I am.
I think ranch is more Midwest than mayo.
I think mayo is Midwest.
Okay, see, I do not see it that way at all, but
Well, when you think about like the Minnesota salads,
yeah.
those are a lot of those are heavy.
You say that to me, I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Is that a New York thing? Granted, I don't eat that many salads, but
I literally just
like-
said it's Minnesota salad. It's from Minnesota.
no, but like French fries aren't actually French. Is it a New York version of French fries, but with a salad that they're trying to say this is a salad that they would eat in Minnesota?
What do you mean French fries aren't French?
French fries aren't French.
What? I'm just kidding. Now, when I say Minnesota salad, that is something that most New Yorkers look at and go, what the fuck is that? It is literally a Midwestern classic. It is the term for many different types of salads, but they usually include like in one bowl, you'll have like mayo, jello, like lime jello, like fruit cocktail, and like mini marshmallows.
I know what this is. I can't say that it's a common part of my Midwestern culture.
I'm happy for you because I would see actually that would be to me that would further like underscore why you don't like mayo if you were exposed to that. But yeah, it's a whole culture. It's a whole thing.
Sure. All right.
Anyway, we digress.
French fries are made in Greece.
Yeah, they are.
All right.
Yes, actually, yeah.
All right, I gotta go, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm just gonna stick with those picks.
Anthony, you get 2.
Yeah, you get 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one, Mountain Dew with Aubrey Plaza.
I was not even gonna touch Mountain Dew just because I knew it was going Anthony's way.
Thank you. And the second one,
I feel like you have one that you can just back to back play and that are big Anthony vibes, and I don't know if you're gonna do it.
You're right. Look, I wouldn't be myself if I didn't say T-Mobile. No, just kidding.
we all know Anthony, big T-Mobile guy.
Can I get the Reese's with caramel big cup cluster? Oh my god, wait. I thought that was going to be
Chris wrote that. Chris wrote that.
I wrote
okay.
the clusterfuck because it's a weird commercial. I already watched it. It was
nice.
It's weird, but it's for the caramel big cup, which by the way, I have tried. It was alright. It was not like it didn't blow my socks off, but it was pretty good.
I'm very particular about my chocolate to peanut butter ratio, so any of the big cups throw me off.
It wasn't like it's not like the big cups that we
No,
sometimes get
not
for
the half
Christmas.
pounders. I mean,
Yeah.
even just like the thick boys.
Yeah, I get.
I'm particular about the ratio.
Yeah, I hear you.
They have not made a cup that is too big for me.
they gotta test you.
Oh, right.
All right, Kelsey, you're
The TurboTax with Quinta Brunson.
all right.
Because I feel like my
particular?
justification for that is TurboTax is going to want to sell their product to the adults that are freaking out about their taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most people progressively get more intoxicated. And I feel like they're going to want to, like, anybody that's selling something that's more sophisticated and like important is going to want to front load as opposed to being like
That's
a
fair.
flashy, snacky
Yeah.
thing towards the end. I feel like flashy, snacky things are an end game.
I respect that a lot. I think that's very solid reasoning, and
playing the game.
I'll also say TurboTax is a like one of like the bigger sponsors for the NFL to the point where they like sponsor Championship Sunday. I would be very shocked if TurboTax is not a first half commercial.
Yeah,
like,
that's that fantastic pick. I was considering it myself.
I also have a theory that I lost my theory. I was gonna say it, and then I got like distracted by the fact that Matt was encroaching on my picks again. So I got like a little flustered. But
there you go.
I'll think about it. I'll think about my
All right.
oh
Matt,
wait, I remember it now. Do we think that there are more people paying attention to the game and therefore the commercials in the first part or in the latter part? Because I feel like people might show up to the game late, and like the more important part of the game is how it ends.
I hear you.
Not how it starts. And who the fuck cares about Usher at this point? What year are we in? Who cares about Usher? He gave Murphy herpes and got away with it. So like, what do we?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, actually, he had to pay a couple $1 million for that, but still.
I don't know. I feel like typically the bigger commercials, the ones that like have people talking for the most part, usually end up airing in the first half. I think because that's like the initial because here's the thing though, Kels, like I hear you and I agree. Like usually people near the end, people would tune into the end if it's a close game, but that's if it's a close game. If it's a blowout, people start tuning out unless you have less eyes on the game because of that. And I think commercials, I think that brands and how the NFL would probably structure it is front load with the ones that you want people to have eyes on, just in case the game gets out of hand and is no longer fun to watch.
Fine.
That's my theory anyway.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's how I would see it. Matt, you are up next.
Yes, I got to see what song they're singing in the T-Mobile commercial
in order to determine whether or not you want to draft them.
I think it's Footloose. Oh, no, Flashdance.
Okay. Are they doing Maniac? Or whatever?
I think so.
Oh my god.
I don't
Fair
know.
enough.
I can't tell. I can't tell from the brief.
Oh my god, that guy is missing pants.
But I'm gonna go with the Super Bowl classic Budweiser, the sad horse dog. Horse / dog.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna make people wait for that one because that's iconic.
Yeah, I'm mixed on that too. Because Budweiser is the iconic one. I definitely think it's gonna.
I know at least it's gonna be there.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be there, and I don't think it's gonna be at the end.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be at the end, but I would predict after the halftime.
Yeah. Sad horse / dog vibes, by the way, was just.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't know what they're actually going for there. All right, I'm next with 2 picks. I'll do Doritos, Dina, and Mita.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna do that.
I feel like Doritos would be a go-to. I also I'm gonna say Google Pixel.
Interesting.
Oh.
I think that Google's would absolutely pay the money to get their commercial up as early as possible. It's a sentimental one, so
So that falls in line with the theory than what I was trying to say with you think that the more important, that the premium time slots for the commercials are front loading it.
I think so.
All right,
I think so.
interesting.
Yeah, that's my theory anyway. But I've lost this multiple times. I think so. I'm not always
I
right.
think we're 2-1. I think we're 2-1.
Okay,
You definitely
yeah.
beat me at least once.
Yeah.
All right.
And now,
All right.
and now that those records go out the window because we got 2 more people to do.
Oh yeah, we do. Let's see.
We have it's a lot of celebrities.
Yeah,
Some
I'll take the Scrubs guys.
yeah,
The team
there you
level.
go. Yeah, there's only a couple that I don't think have celebrities, but have either some sort of emotional message or very comedic message.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Okay, so you're already there. All right.
Yep.
All right, Kelsey, you're up.
Gonna go with the Dove Keep Her Confident commercial.
Very nice. I could definitely see that being early
Because kids, it's marketed towards young girls, the whole commercial.
It's also like a campaign of sorts, and I feel like
They're always campaigning. Everything they do is campaigns.
I mean, arguably all of these are campaigns, but this is
but they like have a borderline, like they always have like a women's empowerment message kind of. So it's like it's like politically charged, which it shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna want people tweeting early and often about their hashtag. So there you go.
Anthony. All right, Anthony, you got 2 picks.
Cool. All right.
Your last 2.
Gonna go with Drumstick with Eric Andre.
Nice.
Nice.
And let's go with BMW with Christopher Walken.
Okay.
He's driving here.
He's
Christopher
driving his car down the road.
All right, Kelsey.
Squarespace with Martin Scorsese. Not the Squarespace with aliens.
Yes. Couple Squarespace stairs. Squarespace stairs.
I don't know why I remember this. There was what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
There was I remember specifically that Booking had an early commercial last year.
Okay.
So I feel like they could do it again. So I'm going to take the Booking commercial, Booking.com with Tina Fey.
Very nice. That actually, they're doing a 30 Rock reunion with this.
Oh my god!
So that most likely is going to be early, I would imagine. Although it's a CBS Super Bowl, so maybe they're going to bury that. I think it's going to be early. I agree. I think it's going to be an early one. All right. For my final pick, I will say this: we can make this the final pick, or we could go another round. Just because, or at least we can do one more pick each because I was technically like the middle of the snake or whatever.
Yeah,
just throwing it out there.
Bring to 6.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Etsy gift mode.
Cute.
Just because it seems like it's an interesting premise. They're doing it like, what if America had the ability to return a gift to France after they give to them the Statue of Liberty? It's just like, all right, interesting premise. I imagine they would want to air that early as a fun little gag. So do we want to do a 6 pick for each?
I'd be down.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so then I will go ahead and take how was the last one I really had eyes on? I'll do
Before I almost cut off Matt, was I cannot believe that they have Anthony Hopkins doing a Stoke cold brew commercial, because Anthony Hopkins is 86 years old, and I feel like if he drank Stoke cold brew, he would flatline. Like, I cannot believe that that Anthony Hopkins is still taking gigs like that. Like, let the man rest.
Yeah. You know what? They've been teasing these commercials all week. I'm gonna go Arnold State Farm.
Nice. That was a
Uh,
consideration for myself.
The
your final pick.
NFL is a betting monopoly. So I'm gonna go with BetMGM for my
Very
final
Nice.
pick.
Also one I was eyeing.
All right.
I get one of them.
Former Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer is now the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
Okay. Interesting. I mean,
As of 5 minutes ago.
That was the.
So 5 minutes ago.
That was that's how he got the job as a Vikings head coach, was that he was a very good defensive coordinator. So we'll see. All right, Kelsey, you're up.
Anthony, were you gonna make a joke or were you making a pick?
I was making a pick. I thought I was up, but I'm not.
Oh no. Wait your turn. Ugh. I'm gonna go with E-Trade pickleball babies.
That's what I was gonna pick.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was
That's
eyeing
right.
that too. I was eyeing
Pickleball,
that too.
pickleball babies.
You got some chocolate in here that nobody. I'm looking at like the fact that there's a gap in the list that's bothering me. So I'm like, oh, Lindt chocolate and M&Ms. Nobody picks a little orange guy. That's kind of sad.
I tried, but Big Choice over here told me I couldn't.
Big choice.
Big choice.
Yeah. So to note some of the ones that have not been selected, there is a Bud Light commercial, Bud Light Genie, a Coors Light, Bic Easy Reach with Willie Nelson, Elf Cosmetics, Kowalski, which I have no idea. I think that's like a car brand. Lindt
Kawasaki.
chocolate.
Isn't it Kawasaki?
I'm okay. Yeah, I may have just
Oh, no.
misspelled that.
No, it's not. Never mind.
No,
Lindt
it's
chocolate.
Kawasaki. I think Chris just.
It is Kawasaki, yeah.
Oh yeah, I misspelled it then.
Yeah.
Lindt chocolate, M&M, Michelob Ultra, Oreo, Pluto TV, another Squarespace commercial, Starry, Stoke Cold Brew, and Volkswagen, and as a bonus, little orange guy.
Do I get more picks?
I think we're doing one more pick each.
That was.
Well.
This is your last pick.
This is your last pick, I should say. Yeah.
Do I only have 4 on the board?
No, you got 5.
No, you have 5.
Oh yeah. I was colorblind to that last one, I guess. All right, I'm gonna go with the Bic Easy Reach for Willie Nelson.
Very good. Very
Solid.
good.
That's a safe
Solid.
pick. Yeah.
Can I ask, just curiously, what your second pick was going to be?
I didn't come up with it yet.
Oh, you just...
And you never will.
I was like, wait a minute.
And then real quick, my mouse has been acting up so badly lately. I was just gonna do a quick sorting. I wish you could do a sort using colors. Like you could sort the sheet using colors, but does not look like that I can do that. So fuck that. Oh wait, no, I can do it. I can do alphabetical.
You can. Our
work the
names
same.
are.
Yeah, I forgot that's how that would work. Okay, hold on. Oh my god, my mouse is going to be the death of me. But anyways,
a new one.
I do need a new one. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate the sentiment. All right, there you go. We got it. All right, so to recap how everyone drafted. Anthony, how about you list the 6? You could use the commercial name or the business name. Your 6 commercials or / businesses that you drafted.
Sure. So my first one is Dove, #keep her confident. My second one is BetMGM with Vince Vaughn and Tom Brady.
Wait,
what?
My third one is Doritos.
I don't know.
Anthony is
he's just bouncing around the board.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I can't resist.
I'll go.
being a
Would you
shit.
like me to go?
No. It's all right.
I picked
I'm
Nerds
going now.
Gummies.
I got Bic Easy Reach with Willie Nelson. BMW with Christopher Walken. Drumstick with Eric Andre / People Make Weird Noises.
I think that you're supposed to pick business or commercial, not read both.
No, you can. You can.
Okay.
Alright,
I
thank
was allowing for anything.
Mountain Dew with
Alright,
Aubrey Plaza, Popeyes with Ken Jeong, and Reese's with Caramel Big Cup Clusterfuck.
All right. My picks include Doritos, the Dina and Mita campaign, Etsy gift mode, Google Pixel, Javier and Frame, Pringles, Mr. Peepee / Chris Pratt, State Farm, Arnold, featuring Arnold, and then Uber Eats, Jennifer Aniston / Jelly Roll.
Well, now the Arnold noise is associated with Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, that's okay. That's
Alright.
fine.
All right, my picks are Dove, #keep her confident, E-Trade, Pickleball Babies, Hellman's Mayo Cat / Kate McKinnon, Paramount Plus, Patrick Stewart throws Hey Arnold, Squarespace, Martin Scorsese, and TurboTax, Quinta Brunson.
And mine are BetMGM, Vince Vaughn, Tom Brady, Booking with Tina Fey, potential 30 Rock reunion, Budweiser, the Sad Horse, Nerds Gummies with Addison Rae, the NFL Born to Play, and T-Mobile with Jason Momoa and Scrubs.
There you go. And with that, we'll book that. I'm gonna probably put this on my phone or something, and I'll keep track of it the day of the Super Bowl. And of course, since everyone has access to it, everyone can keep track of it. And since everyone has editing access, please don't change anything. Meanwhile, before we end off the podcast today, it is time to pick the winner of the Super Bowl, our final pick of the NFL season. And as our guests are here, Kelsey and Anthony, you guys are also allowed to throw in your hat into the race for either team. In fact, whoever wants to start between Kelsey and Anthony.
Do we want to explain the teams first or their journeys, or do you think that's pretty covered?
I think we've really gone deep on it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we'll you all get the idea of who's playing. The Chiefs versus 49ers in Super Bowl 58.
I think the Ravens are going to win.
God, I wish.
I know.
Man, that'd be awesome. It could be like a wrestling match, like a
Here
WWE
comes Lamar
match.
Jackson with the steel chair.
Right, exactly. Like rising out of the graves, and they just win the belt regardless.
A raven rising from the ashes.
There you go.
Never
There you
mind.
go. All right. So one of the chaotic couple squared. You can one of you guys pick a Super Bowl team that you think is going to win.
You can go first, Anthony. I feel like being nice.
All right, thank you.
I think it's gonna be the
Out of-
Chiefs. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
Out of a little bit of animosity towards the Chiefs for two chief reasons. One, Kansas City isn't in Kansas, and that's fucking ridiculous.
It is partially in Kansas, but there's two Kansas cities. One's in Kansas, one's in Missouri. But the one that the Chiefs are in is the one in Missouri.
Yeah. And two,
He didn't know any of that, but he's like, yeah.
the iconography and the whole, Native American theme to the team.
The racism. That's
Right. After all we fucking did to them, I cannot, in good conscience, vote for the Chiefs. So 49ers, let's go.
There you go. All right, Kelsey.
I think it's gonna be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have enough skin
She's not
in this
endorsing
game.
the Chiefs. She's just saying that she
Yeah,
thinks it's gonna
and I
win.
also don't have ultimately enough skin in this game to really care or feel that drastically about it. I just feel like there is some pixie dust that has been sprinkled on the Chiefs that I can't explicitly explain. And I feel like there's a lot of Taylor Swift fans with little 49er voodoo dolls pulling some bullshit. So, I just feel like it's going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I just feel like there's an energy. I was kidding about the voodoo. I was kidding about the Swifties, whatever,
Yeah.
having any real influence, but I do believe in energy.
Yes.
And I feel like it's undeniable. Like the Chiefs literally beat out what was the top Vegas pick lineup for the Super Bowl. Like at the very last, they beat the Bills where people were devastated. Like, I just feel like there is something, and maybe their luck will run out on Sunday. Maybe it's over. But I feel like there is an energy that's undeniable around the Chiefs this season, and I feel like it's just going to go all the way.
I agree with that.
Matt, if I may, I will go next.
Please.
Just because I
mean, mine's obvious, but you can.
Yeah,
well, you want to say.
That's why, yeah, because like the right now the playoff picks, I'm ahead by 2, so technically I've already won it on that front.
Yeah.
But I think that usually how this would go would be like the person who's leading would go first, so the other person can either counteract or not. Anyways, whatever. I've been really thinking about this because I'm like, I could go with my heart, or I could go with my head, and it's always the debate, and it's always the same thing that I go back to, which is how stubborn I could be about certain teams and not wanting to pick against them because it just feels like it's destiny no matter what. I just feel like if this year was really going to be the like I feel like the Chiefs have had this aura around them all year that they weren't quite the same, that everything was falling apart. And there was this room for these younger teams, these teams that have rose to the occasion and were just on the cusp of taking over the league and being like, all right, we have fresh blood about to make it to the Super Bowl and win it for the first time, or win it for the first time in years or whatever. Like it felt like we were moving in that direction, and for the Chiefs to come alive in the last few weeks here and return to form is it's so like, wow, it really made everything to this point feel so meaningless because the Chiefs are just right back where they were last year. And and it's so reminiscent of the Patriots. It's so reminiscent of every single time that we thought the Patriots would just go the fuck away and they come roaring back, whether it was in a game or in a season. And that is a mark of a dynasty. And that is, of course, why I'm going to pick the Chiefs in this game. As much as it pains me, I'm picking the Chiefs. I also maybe bet some money on the Chiefs and would like them to win the game for that particular reason. But that's the only other reason why I'd want the Chiefs to win.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm picking the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like this is another team that is like has gotten so close. Whether they've come up short multiple times. They had a big lead on the Chiefs last time these two teams were in the Super Bowl, and obviously blew it. You totally see that happening again because it's just the Chiefs' MO to get back on top when they're down, both in a game and across the season, apparently. So yeah, I mean, but I don't know. There's something different about this team. I think that having a like the 49ers path this season has been wild, where when it was like confirmed that they're rolling with Brock Purdy, there were a few games in the middle where he struggled, a few games at the end where he struggled, but he was playing pretty well. And there was even a point where like I called him this, and I remember a few people calling that this might be one of the greatest football teams of all time. I don't think that's true anymore, but at one point in the season it was. Yeah. And I really do think that they have a chance with how good their defense is, how well coached their offense is. If all of them are healthy, which they are, Debo and McCaffrey and Kittle and all of them, I do think the 49ers have a chance. That's not to downplay any of the thoughts about the Chiefs or the dynasty. I want to pick this team.
Yeah.
And I've really liked this team this season. And it's always validating when like your preseason, like, okay, this team can make it to the Super Bowl, makes it to the Super Bowl, and this is the third year in a row where I've gotten that right. So
Yeah.
Rooting for the NFC teams doesn't always work out well for me, but I'm rolling with the 49ers. I actually, my Travis Kelce shirt that I have, I'm going to probably, when we get done, alter it into a George Kittle jersey. Just like tape paper over it.
Write "it'll" on a piece of tape.
Right, it'll, and then like change the number.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
like 87 to 85.
Right, yeah,
Put
exactly.
5s over the 7s.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Draw an SF over the KC.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Truthfully, at the end of the day, I just hope somebody wins.
I think that will be accomplished.
That should
then
happen.
I'm happy.
It should happen, barring someone trying to I don't know, protest the NFL. Because
which leads me to what we really all just want is a ceasefire. So
that's true. Yes, that's that.
If I could, I would have drafted a permanent ceasefire.
Listen, if that's what people want to protest, I'm all down. If you want to cancel the Super Bowl over getting a ceasefire, I am 100% down for that. I was more thinking that someone would want to protest the NFL because they hate that Taylor Swift is now a central figure in the Super Bowl. But sure, I'm down for.
Listen, if she offered them a ride on her private jet, they would have no qualms.
Yeah. At least those people definitely would be down for it.
Yeah, they would do it in a second.
Yeah. Anyways, well, that's it. Thank you all. Thanks everyone for joining this recording.
Can I say it?
You.
Can I say it?
You can say it.
Okay.
I can.
You can
say it.
Kelsey can say it.
Yeah. All right, but you'll know the signal.
Okay.
But yes, it has been such a great season. We'll be back next week to recap the Super Bowl, recap the award show, which I think is actually happening right as we're recording this right now. Recap everything that happened this weekend, and close out the 2023 season for good. But until then, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Good night and good ball.
Yay!
Yeah.